Black waitress refills his coffee. CEO sees her necklace, freezes mid-sip. That was my daughter's. Where did you get that necklace? The man asked, his voice cracking like he'd just seen a ghost. Maya froze mid-pour, the stream of coffee trembling above the CEO's cup. She blinked slowly, unsure if she heard him right. The morning rush buzzed around her, clattering plates, the espresso machine hissing, orders flying in, but his voice cut through all of it like a blade. Richard Langford. Billionaire. Ruthless CEO. The kind of man who made headlines for shutting down factories, buying companies just to break them apart, firing thousands with a single signature. For the past week, he'd been coming to this tiny diner at the edge of downtown Phoenix. Always alone. Always quiet. Always leaving $100 tip without explanation. But today, the quiet billionaire looked shattered. And all because of her necklace. The little heart-shaped silver locket she'd worn every day of her life. Old. Scratched. Something no one would look at twice. Except him. My mom gave it to me, Maya said cautiously. Why? Richard put his coffee down with a trembling hand. His eyes, usually cold and calculating, softened into something frighteningly vulnerable. Because, he whispered, that necklace belonged to my daughter. Maya stiffened. The room felt suddenly too small, too silent. People still talked, forks still clinked against plates, the cooks still yelled out orders, but none of it reached her. All she could hear was the CEO's unsteady breathing. Sir, I think you're mistaken, she said slowly. This was my mother's. She had it for years. He stood so abruptly the chairs screeched across the floor. Conversations stopped. Heads turned. Maya felt heat crawl up her neck. Where is your mother now? He asked, voice low, strained, desperate. She passed away 3 years ago, she replied, confused. What is this about? He sank back into the booth, his face draining of color. The man who survived boardroom wars without blinking now looked like he was seconds away from breaking. My daughter disappeared 19 years ago, he said quietly. Kidnapped. No clues. No trail. Nothing. And the last thing she was wearing was that exact locket. Maya's breath caught. No. Impossible. Her fingers touched the locket, tracing the scratched metal. She felt a familiar click. The locket sprang open. Inside was a name, faded, almost invisible. Langfo. Her chest tightened. She snapped it shut quickly, panic curling inside her ribs. A memory flickered. Stormy night. Her mother shoving clothes into a bag. Whispering frantically into the darkness. If they ever find out, you run. Do you hear me? You run, Maya. Back then, Maya thought someone was after them. She never imagined this. Richard leaned forward, breath trembling. I'm sorry, he whispered. I'm not trying to accuse your mother. But sometimes people hide because they're scared. Sometimes they run because telling the truth would destroy everything. Maya swallowed hard. Why would my mother hide something like that? Tell me what you know about her, he said. Before she could answer, another voice sliced through the tension. She told you the necklace was her mother's, Linda said sharply. Maya blinked. Great. Linda, the shift manager. A woman who hated her since day one. Hated her kindness, her competence, her youth, her dark skin. And now she stood near the counter, arms crossed, wearing a smile sharp enough to cut. Sir, don't let her fool you, Linda said, voice dripping poison. Girls like her find jewelry anywhere and make up stories to get sympathy. It's all an act. Maya felt heat burn behind her eyes. Not this. Not today. But before she could speak, the billionaire snapped his head toward Linda with a glare, so cold she stumbled back. Be very careful, he said quietly. That girl might be my daughter. Gasps swept across the diner. Linda's face drained. Maya's knees weakened. Customers pulled out their phones, sensing drama. This was becoming a wildfire. Maya tried to breathe. Sir, I don't think. The diner door swung open. A tall man in a dark suit stepped inside. His posture was rigid, eyes scanning the room with professional precision. The kind of man you didn't ignore. He had an earpiece. Security. High level. He strode toward Richard. Sir, we found something. Richard stood slowly. Where? The guard lowered his voice. Your ex-wife's old storage unit. It was open last night. Something cold slid down Maya's spine. Why would the storage unit of a billionaire's ex-wife be opened after 19 years? Richard stared at Maya with an expression she couldn't read. Fear, hope, grief, all tangled together. We need to talk, he said softly. Maya stepped back. Why me? I don't know anything. But then he whispered something that made her blood run cold. Maya, someone else is looking for you. And suddenly, she wasn't sure whether she should fear the billionaire in front of her or the shadow behind her past that was just now waking up. Maya's palms grew damp as she followed Richard and the security guard out of the diner. Her apron felt too tight, her breath too shallow, like she'd stepped into a world that wasn't meant for her. The morning sun hit her face, but instead of warmth, she felt cold tension crawl up her spine. Where are we going? She asked, trying to keep her voice steady. To the car, Richard said, still shaken. Some conversations shouldn't happen in public. I didn't agree to go anywhere, she snapped, planting her feet on the sidewalk. He stopped, turned slowly. The power in his eyes returned, not coldness, but certainty. You don't have to come with us. But you deserve to know the truth. You deserve to know why your mother hid from me. My mother didn't hide, she whispered, though even she wasn't sure. The memory of that stormy night flashed again, her mother locking the doors, shaking, whispering something about danger, something about secrets. Richard softened. If she wasn't hiding from me, then who? The question hung in the warm Phoenix air like a shadow. Maya swallowed hard. What did you find in the storage unit? The security guard stepped forward. We found traces that someone else had been there recently. Fresh dust patterns, fingerprints, and something missing. What was missing? Maya asked. A photo album, Richard said quietly. The one that had pictures of my daughter's early years. Pictures of the necklace she wore. Maya's stomach dropped. Someone else had opened the storage unit. Someone took the album. Someone knew about the necklace. Someone knew about her. Do you know who opened it? She asked. Richard took a slow breath. We're trying to find out. But whoever it was, they were searching for the same answers. I am. I don't understand, Maya muttered. Why would anyone be looking for me? The security guard exchanged a glance with Richard, who hesitated before speaking. There is another possibility, Richard said. One I pray isn't true. Maya felt her heart thumping painfully. What possibility? Richard's eyes darkened. That the person who kidnapped my daughter 19 years ago just came out of hiding. The words hit her like a punch to the chest. Her breath faltered, knees weakening. You're saying someone might have taken me? She felt dizzy even saying it. She wanted to laugh at the absurdity, but her mother's terrified face flashed again, her trembling hands clutching Maya's shoulders. If they ever find out, you run. What if your mother wasn't running from the truth? Richard said quietly. What if she was running from someone dangerous? Maya pressed her hand to her locket. Suddenly it felt heavier, like a chain she never noticed before. Richard motioned to the car again. Let me take you somewhere safe. I'm not going with strangers, she said firmly, even though her voice shook. Then let me call someone for you, Richard offered. A lawyer. A detective. Anyone you trust. Maya shook her head. She didn't trust anyone with something she didn't even understand. I just need time to think, she whispered. You don't have time, the security guard murmured. That made her stop. What does that mean? He cleared his throat. When we checked the security footage outside the storage unit, we saw a car parked near yours this morning. Same license plate as the one seen at the unit last night. Maya's blood froze. I don't own a car, she whispered. Richard's eyes widened. You came to work on foot. Yes. Then that means, the guard said grimly, the car wasn't following you. It was watching you. Her throat tightened. She backed away instinctively, scanning the street, expecting to see someone lurking. Someone watching. Richard moved closer, his voice low but firm. Maya, I know this is overwhelming. I know you don't trust me. But whether you come with me or not, you're not safe right now. She shook her head. No, this doesn't make sense. If someone was after me, why now? Why after all these years? Because the necklace resurfaced, Richard answered. Because I found you. Because the truth is cracking open. Because someone realized their secret didn't stay buried. Maya wrapped her arms around herself. I don't know what my mother did, but she wasn't a criminal. I never said she was, Richard said gently. She could have been protecting you. Maya's voice trembled. From what? Who? Let's go somewhere private, he said. My driver is just around the corner. You'll be safe with us. Her instincts screamed both go and run. Two worlds pulling her in opposite directions. But before she could decide, a voice echoed behind her. Maya. She spun around. A man stood at the edge of the sidewalk. Tall, dark jacket, hands in pockets. A face she didn't recognize, late 40s, calm smile, eyes that didn't smile at all. Richard tensed. The guard stepped forward instantly. "Do you know him?" Richard asked, voice sharp. Maya shook her head slowly. "No." The man stepped closer. "You dropped this earlier," he said, holding out a folded receipt. Maya's heart thudded. She recognized the paper. Her name. Her full name. Printed on the top. But she hadn't dropped anything. Her entire body went cold. "Where did you get that?" the security guard demanded. The man smiled too politely. "She left it on the sidewalk." "I didn't," Maya whispered. "Yes, you did," the man insisted, his smile widening. "You dropped it right by the diner entrance." He took one more step. Richard's security guard stepped in front of him. "Back up. Now." The man raised his eyebrows. "No need to be aggressive. I'm just helping the girl." "Back. Up," the guard repeated. The man held up his hands, but his smile stayed plastered on his face. "I mean no harm," he said. "I've been looking for you, Maya." Her heart stopped. Richard pulled her behind him instantly. "Get in the car. Now." Maya's legs refused to move. Her breath came fast. The street blurred. The world tilted. "Who are you?" she whispered. The man tilted his head. "I knew your mother," he said softly. And then, with a smile that chilled her bones, "and I know what she stole." Maya staggered back. The man took one last step forward and whispered, "It's time to come home." Before she could scream, the security guard grabbed her arm and rushed her toward the car. The man didn't chase. He just stood there smiling, like he already knew where she'd end up. The black SUV door slammed shut behind Maya, muffling the outside chaos. Her breath shook as she pressed her back against the leather seat. The windows were tinted, but she could still make out the silhouette of the man on the sidewalk, the calm, chilling smile still fixed on his face, as if he knew she was watching. Richard climbed in beside her, slamming his own door with a force that made the vehicle tremble. The security guard jumped into the front seat, barking quick instructions into his earpiece. The driver hit the gas before anyone could speak. Maya clutched the locket around her neck, so tightly its edges dug into her fingers. "Who was that?" she whispered. "We're trying to figure it out," Richard answered, his jaw clenched. "But he knew your mother. That alone makes him dangerous." Dangerous. The word echoed through her skull. Her mother had always been sweet, patient, gentle. The kind of woman who baked blueberry muffins for the neighbors and read bedtime stories in funny voices. She never raised her voice, never swore, never hurt anyone. But she did run. She did hide. And she did lie. If this man knew her mother, what else did he know? The SUV turned down a quieter road, speeding toward the city outskirts. Maya stared out the window, her chest tight. "Where are you taking me?" she asked. "My private residence," Richard said. "It's secure. No one can get in without clearance." "I don't even know you," she snapped. "I don't know if you're telling the truth. I don't know if that man was lying, or if you are." Richard exhaled slowly. "I understand. But I promise you, no matter how this ends, I am not your enemy." Maya looked into his eyes for the first time since they got in the car, and she saw something she didn't expect. Not manipulation, not coldness, not corporate arrogance, but grief. Years of it, heavy and suffocating. "You really think I'm your daughter?" she said quietly. "I don't know," he admitted, "but I know that necklace. I gave it to her on her 5th birthday. My wife had it custom made." He paused. "My wife didn't want our daughter to wear something so obvious. She said it would make her a target. I thought it was paranoia. Now, I'm not so sure." Maya's brow furrowed. A target for what? Richard hesitated. "Too long. Far too long. Tell me," she demanded. He swallowed, then turned his gaze to the window. "Before she disappeared, we started receiving threats." "What kind of threats?" His voice dropped. "Kidnapping. Ransom. Revenge. My company wasn't clean back then. Not everyone I did business with stayed a friend." Maya's pulse quickened. "Are you saying someone took her because of you?" Richard didn't look at her. "I've lived with that possibility every day for 19 years. The SUV suddenly turned into a long driveway lined with tall palm trees. A modern estate loomed ahead, sleek glass walls reflecting the desert sun. Security cameras rotated on poles. Guards stood at the gate armed with weapons Maya had only seen in movies. Her breath hitched. This was a fortress. The car stopped outside the house. 2 more security officers rushed over, guiding them inside quickly. The air inside was cool, quiet, clinical. Maya felt out of place instantly. They led her into a large living room. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Expensive art. A grand piano. Everything spotless. Richard motioned for her to sit, but she stayed standing, arms crossed tightly. "Start talking," she said. "All of it." He nodded slowly and lowered himself into a chair, running a shaky hand through his hair. 19 years ago, my company was expanding internationally. We were negotiating deals with people who weren't exactly lawful. Maya's stomach tightened. "One of them was a man named Victor Hale," Richard continued. "He wanted a controlling share in my company. I refused. And," she pressed, "and a year later, my daughter disappeared." Silence crashed into the room, like a wave. Maya felt the air leave her lungs. "You think he took her?" "We could never prove it," Richard said. "But he warned me. He said refusing him would cost me the thing I loved most." A shiver threaded down Maya's spine. What happened to him? "He vanished from the country 2 days after she disappeared. No trail. No sightings. Nothing." Maya swallowed. "And you think that man outside was connected to him?" Richard didn't answer. He didn't have to. Maya took a step back. "If Victor took your daughter, why would my mother have her?" Richard leaned forward, gripping the armrests tightly. "Your mother might not have been part of the kidnapping. She could have found the child, or rescued her. Or maybe she discovered something terrible and ran with her." Maya's breath caught. "My mother would never kidnap a child." Richard nodded. "I believe you. That's why I'm trying to understand." Maya closed her eyes for a moment. Her head felt heavy, with too many possibilities. Her mother rescuing a kidnapped child. Her mother hiding them. Her mother running from dangerous men. Her mother lying to protect her. What kind of life had she lived without knowing it? A soft chime interrupted her thoughts. One of the security officers rushed in, carrying a tablet. "Sir," he said urgently, "we got a license plate match. The man outside the diner, his car was registered to a shell company linked to—" He paused, glancing at Maya. "Say it," she insisted. The officer switched the screen around. A name flashed across it. Victor Hale. Maya felt all the blood drain from her face. "He's alive." Richard whispered, horrified. The officer nodded grimly. "Very much alive. And we now have confirmation he's in Phoenix." Maya staggered back until her legs hit the couch, forcing her to sit. Richard stared at her with a haunted look. "Maya, if he knows who you are." She didn't let him finish. "There's something you don't know," she whispered, fingers trembling. Richard looked up slowly. "What is it?" Maya unclasped the locket. Her hands shook violently. She opened it. Inside, beneath the faded engravings and the scratched metal, was something she had never seen before. A second compartment. Thin. Hidden. Invisible unless the latch was pressed exactly right. She looked at Richard. "I think my mother hid something in here." Richard leaned forward, eyes wide, and Maya pressed the latch. The compartment clicked open, and a tiny folded piece of paper slid out. Richard froze. Maya's breath caught, because written on the paper were 6 words that shattered his world. "Your daughter is alive. Protect her." Maya's hands shook as she unfolded the tiny piece of paper. The handwriting was small, precise, almost elegant. Each word etched into her mind like fire. "Your daughter is alive. Protect her." Her stomach twisted. She glanced at Richard. His usually composed face was pale, eyes wide, fixed on the paper, like it might dissolve if he blinked. The words hit him harder than any boardroom loss ever could. This is impossible," he whispered. His voice cracked. This can't be real. My daughter alive." Maya looked at him, heart pounding. "Sir, if this is true, then who left this? Why? Why would my mother hide something from you all these years?" Richard's hands clenched into fists. "I don't know. But whoever did this, they knew someone was coming for you. They wanted to make sure you were warned." A sudden knock on the door made them both jump. The security officer flinched and motioned for Richard to stay calm. Maya's mind raced. "Who is it?" she asked. The officer shook his head. "I don't know, but it's urgent." Richard rose slowly and moved toward the door, glancing at Maya. "Stay here. Do not move." She stayed seated, clutching the locket, staring at him as he opened the door. A woman stood there, mid-30s, sharp eyes, an air of authority. Her black blazer, crisp and professional, seemed to radiate power. She didn't introduce herself immediately. She just looked at Richard, then at Maya. "Mr. Langford," she said finally, "I'm Agent Callahan. FBI. We need to talk. Now." Maya froze. FBI. This had just become a nightmare, and somehow terrifyingly real. Richard's face hardened. "Callahan, you have information?" "Yes. Victor Hale is more dangerous than you realize. And he knows you found her." Maya's pulse spiked. "Found her? Me?" Agent Callahan looked at Maya directly, eyes unblinking. "You have to come with us. Now, if you stay here, he'll know exactly where to find you." Richard hesitated, glancing at Maya. She was trembling, the locket clutched like a shield. He reached for her hand. "Maya, you need to trust me. You have no idea how dangerous this is." "I don't even know what's happening," she cried. "Everything about my life has been fake." Callahan interrupted sharply. "Not fake. Hidden. Your mother knew what she was doing. She saved you. And now, Victor Hale, he's finally resurfaced." Maya felt her breath catch. "He's alive? All these years?" "Alive," Callahan confirmed, voice deadly serious. "And he's been tracking you for weeks. He knows someone in this city has found out who you are. That's why he's moving now." Richard swallowed hard, then turned to her. "Maya, the necklace, the locket, it was never just jewelry. It's the key. The one piece of evidence Hale couldn't destroy." Maya stared at him. "Key to what?" "To finding you," Richard said quietly. "To saving you." Her mind spun. Her mother, the hiding, the locket, the mysterious message. All of it collided into one terrifying realization. She was the center of a dangerous game she never asked to play. Callahan's phone buzzed. She checked it, then turned to Richard. "We have a lead. Hale was spotted near downtown this morning. He's moving fast. We may only have hours." Richard's jaw tightened. "Maya, you have to come with us. If we don't act now, we may never get another chance." Maya hesitated. Part of her wanted to run. Part of her wanted answers. But fear, raw, stabbing fear, rooted her to the spot. Finally, she nodded. "Okay, I'm coming. But promise me, no one will hurt my mother's memory. She did what she had to do." Richard's hand squeezed hers. "I promise." Callahan motioned for them to follow. The SUV waited outside, engines running, ready to take them somewhere secure. Maya climbed in, heart hammering, locket pressed against her chest like it contained her life force. As the vehicle drove through the city streets, the weight of the situation settled on her shoulders. Everything she thought she knew, her family, her mother, her childhood, was a lie. Or at least, a carefully constructed truth. Richard sat next to her, silent, lost in thought. Occasionally he glanced at her, then down at his hands, then back out the window. The man who had been untouchable in boardrooms, unshakable in business, was now vulnerable, exposed, desperate. Maya wanted to ask him questions. Hundreds of them. But she didn't know where to start. Instead, she clutched the locket, feeling the faint grooves where the hidden compartment had been. Someone had known she would find it. Someone had left it there for a reason. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time felt distorted. Every traffic light, every passing car made her jump. She couldn't stop thinking about the man outside the diner. The smile. The way he knew exactly where she was. Suddenly, the SUV swerved sharply into a parking garage. They stopped in a shadowed corner, lights dim, empty except for the hum of engines. Callahan opened her door first. "Stay close," she instructed, "and don't make a sound." Richard helped Maya out of the SUV. As they moved through the shadows toward the elevators, she felt an almost electric tension in the air. Like the world was holding its breath. They reached the elevator. Callahan keyed in a code. The doors slid open, revealing a private floor, secure and almost sterile in its silence. The walls were lined with monitors showing various locations, streets, alleys, highways. Cameras she hadn't known existed, now trained on the city she'd grown up in. Maya's eyes widened. All of this for me?" Richard shook his head. "For you, for my daughter, for the truth. We have to be ready for anything. Hale is not just dangerous, he's brilliant, calculated, and patient. He's been waiting for this moment for 19 years. Maya felt her knees weaken. 19 years. She had lived all these years thinking she was ordinary, safe. Now every memory, every detail of her life, felt like it had been constructed under a shadow she didn't even know existed. Callahan turned to her, voice firm. "We don't know exactly what Hale wants. But if he's after you, it's not just revenge. He wants control. He wants leverage. He will do whatever it takes to get it. You are the key. That necklace, that locket, it's more than sentimental. It's proof. Evidence. And right now, that makes you a target. Maya pressed her hand to her chest, feeling the pulse of fear, adrenaline, and something else, curiosity. She had questions, thousands. Why her mother hid her, why Hale took her, why Richard had searched all these years, and what message had been hidden in the locket. Richard leaned closer, voice low and intense. Maya, I need you to trust me. I will not let anything happen to you. Not now. Not ever. Her lips trembled. I want to believe you. I really do. But everything has been lies. How do I know the truth now? He reached out, gently lifting her hand. Because some truths you feel in your soul. And I feel it too. You belong here. You belong with the truth. And together, we're going to find out who tried to take that from you. Maya nodded slowly, heart racing. Fear, shock, and a strange glimmer of hope tangled together inside her. The elevator doors closed. Shadows swallowed them. And somewhere out in Phoenix, Victor Hale was moving closer, unaware that the girl he had hunted for nearly 2 decades was already awake and ready. The elevator doors opened with a soft hiss, revealing a sleek corridor bathed in muted light. Maya followed Richard and Agent Callahan, her hands still clutching the locket, feeling the weight of the past and the unknown pressing down on her. Every step she took felt like she was walking deeper into a world she had no memory of, no preparation for, yet somehow had been destined to enter. Stay close, Callahan instructed. Hale isn't just dangerous, he's unpredictable. Every move we make counts. Maya nodded, though fear clawed at her chest. She tried to steady her breathing, tried to focus on the metallic click of her locket as she touched it, trying to remind herself of her mother, of the safety she had once felt, even if it had been fleeting. Richard stopped in front of a reinforced door. His fingers hovered over the keypad for a moment, then pressed a sequence. The door slid open, revealing a secure room filled with monitors, maps, and files neatly arranged on a long steel table. This is our command center, Richard said quietly. From here, we can track Hale, anticipate his moves, and keep you safe. But first, we need to understand everything about your mother, Maya. The truth she left behind. Maya swallowed. I don't even know where to start. She never told me anything about her past. About anything. All I knew was home, school, and that I was safe. Richard stepped closer. She kept you hidden because she had to. Because someone dangerous was after you, and it wasn't just Hale at first. There were others, associates of his, who wanted to use you as leverage. Your mother made a choice to protect you by disappearing. She risked everything, even her reputation, so that you could live. Maya's head spun. Every word he said made a knot of anger, confusion, and fear tighten in her chest. So, everything I thought I knew, it was a lie. My life, my memories safe, but fake. Richard's eyes softened. Not fake. Protected. Your memories are real, Maya. But they were sheltered from the danger she knew was coming. And now the danger is back. Callahan's voice cut in sharply. We've got a lead. Hale was spotted in an industrial district, 2 miles from the city center. He's moving fast, and we believe he knows someone's found the locket. That means you're the target. Maya felt the locket burn against her chest. The message, the hidden compartment, the handwriting, everything was connected. Everything pointed to her. And for the first time in her life, she realized just how fragile her sense of safety had been. Why me? She whispered, almost to herself. Why now? Richard took a deep breath. Because you are the proof. The living evidence that Hale didn't succeed. And because someone, your mother, maybe others, made sure you survived all these years. But Hale, he doesn't forgive. He doesn't forget. And now he's realized the truth is out. Maya's mind raced. If Hale knew, then he would come for her no matter what. Every story her mother had whispered about strangers, every warning, every hurried goodbye, it had been preparation. And she had been blind to it. Callahan pointed to the monitors. We can't risk staying here. Hale's team is highly trained. He's smart. He watches patterns, predicts movements. If we stay in one place too long, he'll find us. Richard nodded. We'll move you to a safe house. Somewhere isolated. Somewhere Hale's influence doesn't reach. But first, we need to prepare. Maya swallowed, trying to steady her nerves. Prepare for what? For confrontation, Richard said softly. Hale will not stop until he knows for sure what happened to you, and he will come for answers. We need to anticipate his moves before he does. The command center screens display detailed maps, satellite images, and surveillance footage. Every potential escape route, every street Hale could take, every point of entry and exit, it was all mapped out. Maya realized she was witnessing something she had only seen in movies. A high-stakes chase, a calculated game of survival, and somehow she was at the center. Callahan turned to her. You need to understand something, Maya. This is bigger than your life alone. Hale's reach, it's extensive. He's built an empire of power and influence. And now, because of this locket, you're the key to his revenge. Maya's hands trembled as she touched the locket. Every memory, every lesson her mother had forced upon her, every act of protection, felt suddenly purposeful. She had been shaped for this moment, even if she didn't understand it. Richard stepped closer. Your mother left clues. She left warnings. The hidden compartment, the note, she wanted you to be ready if the truth ever came. And now it has. Maya exhaled shakily. But I'm just me. I'm a waitress. I don't have skills or training or anything. How am I supposed to survive someone like him? Richard's eyes were steady, resolute. Because you're smarter than you realize. Because you have courage. And because I won't let anything happen to you. Callahan approached, placing a reassuring hand on Maya's shoulder. You're not alone. We'll protect you. But you have to trust us. Follow our instructions exactly. One mistake, one wrong move, and he could take you before we even know what hit you. Maya nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. It was terrifying, overwhelming, but beneath the fear, a spark of determination ignited. She had survived 19 years hidden, protected by her mother, and now she had a chance to face the past, to reclaim her life. Richard moved toward the security files. We need to go through everything your mother left behind. Every photograph, every document, every clue. Only then will we understand the full picture, and only then can we anticipate Hale's next move. Maya followed him reluctantly, scanning the tables of documents. Old photographs, letters, travel documents, and notes scribbled in faded ink, all fragments of a past she had never known. She picked up a photograph, a small, faded image of a young girl clutching a teddy bear. Richard's hand hovered over it, eyes glistening. That's her, my daughter, your twin, Maya. The one Hale never found. Maya's breath caught. Twin. Richard nodded. Your mother hid you both separately to protect you. That's why you never knew, and that's why Hale didn't find either of you for so long. Maya's mind reeled. Twin, 19 years, hidden lives, the locket, the threats. Everything clicked together, terrifyingly clear. Callahan's voice broke through. We don't have much time. Hale is moving closer. We need to leave now, get to the safe house, and prepare for whatever comes next. Maya clutched the locket, her hands shaking, but steely resolve began to form. She wasn't just a target anymore. She was someone with a purpose. Someone who had been protected, shaped, and now ready. Richard looked at her, a mixture of fear and hope in his eyes. Maya, this is just the beginning. Once we're at the safe house, you'll understand everything. But for now, you need to trust us. She nodded, feeling a surge of courage. The fear was still there, but so was determination. Hale had hunted her for nearly 2 decades, but now the hunter would find that his prey wasn't helpless anymore. As they exited the command center and entered the waiting SUV, Maya's fingers tightened around the locket. She glanced at Richard, then at Callahan, and for the first time, she felt ready. The city streets blurred past as the vehicle sped toward the outskirts, toward the unknown safe house. Behind them, somewhere in Phoenix, Victor Hale was moving closer, unaware that the girl he had hunted for 19 years was awake, alert, and beginning to uncover the secrets that would change everything. And Maya, once an ordinary waitress, now understood that her life, her past, and her future were all pieces of a puzzle. A puzzle that had been waiting for her to put together, and now she had no choice but to solve it. The SUV rumbled over the desert road, the city skyline shrinking behind them. Maya's hands never left the locket, her mind spinning with fragments of the past and the terrifying reality of the present. 19 years. 19 years of being hidden, protected, and now hunted. And all of it had led to this moment. Richard sat beside her, tense and silent. Callahan's eyes scanned the horizon through the windshield, every movement, every shadow. Maya finally broke the silence. Where's this safe house? She asked, her voice trembling. Richard swallowed hard. It's remote. Hidden. Hale will never find it unless he's already inside my security network. Maya's stomach clenched. He's smart. If he's been searching for me all this time, what makes you think we're safe? Callahan spoke, calm but firm. We aren't entirely safe. Not yet. But we have an advantage. He doesn't know you're awake. He doesn't know you have the locket. And he doesn't know what we're about to reveal. Maya looked down at the locket. The hidden compartment. The note. Her mother had left her a trail, a warning, a lifeline. And now, everything hinged on her understanding it. The SUV finally turned onto a private, unmarked road leading to a sprawling compound surrounded by tall fences, security cameras, and armed guards. The gates slid open silently, welcoming them into the fortress. Inside, the safe house was massive yet intimate. Surveillance screens covered one wall, showing real-time feeds of the surrounding desert. Rooms were stocked with supplies, communications equipment, and documents detailing Hale's operations over the past 2 decades. Maya stepped cautiously, her eyes darting to the monitors. You've prepared for everything, she whispered. Richard nodded. For Hale, everything is calculated. But sometimes, even the smartest men make mistakes. Callahan gestured for Maya to sit at a large table. We need to review everything we know. Your mother's notes, the locket, the photographs, they're all pieces of the puzzle. Only then can we predict Hale's next move. Maya opened the locket again, pressing the hidden latch. The tiny paper fell into her palm. She unfolded it carefully. The words burned in her mind. Your daughter is alive. Protect her. Richard leaned over, his voice barely a whisper. This was meant for you. Your mother knew Hale's reach, his obsession. She wanted you to have proof, to understand your own survival. But she couldn't tell you everything. She had to keep you hidden. Maya's chest tightened. So, all these years, I wasn't just hidden. I was trained, prepared. Prepared in ways you don't yet understand, Callahan said. Your mother left you instructions, clues, survival tools. This locket, this note, it's the key. Hale has spent years searching, but he doesn't know you're ready. A sudden alert on one of the monitors made everyone freeze. Red letters flashed. Unidentified vehicle approaching perimeter. Maya's heart slammed against her ribcage. Is that him? Richard and Callahan exchanged a glance. It could be, Callahan said, or it could be one of his scouts. Either way, stay calm, stay alert. The tension in the room was electric. Maya's fingers tightened on the locket. Every memory of her mother, every story of hidden dangers, every whispered warning, they all converged into one moment. Richard moved to the monitors, tracing the vehicle's path. It's heading straight for us. But it's taking a long route. Someone wants to be sure we're here. Maya's mind raced. What do we do? Callahan's eyes were sharp, focused. We wait, and then we act. Hale thinks he controls the game, but he doesn't know we have a player he didn't anticipate. Maya realized she was the player. She, once an ordinary waitress, now held the key to survival, truth, and revenge. The locket wasn't just a piece of jewelry. It was her mother's plan, her lifeline, and her proof. The SUV doors outside creaked. Maya felt her pulse spike. Every shadow seemed alive. Every sound made her jump. Then a voice. Smooth, chilling. Confident. Maya. Her blood ran cold. Victor Hale. Richard moved in front of her instantly, protective, furious. Stay behind me. Hale's silhouette appeared at the perimeter, calm, smiling, his hands in pockets. You've grown, he said. Smart, strong, but still mine to find. Maya's heart pounded. Mine? You don't even know me. Hale's smile didn't waver. I know exactly who you are. And now, I know you have the locket. That changes everything. Callahan whispered urgently, Stay low, Maya. Trust us. Richard grabbed her hand, guiding her to a secure room behind the main command center. We're not letting him touch you. Not today. But Hale wasn't just outside the perimeter. On the monitors, Maya saw more vehicles approaching. Hale's team, moving in precise formation. It was calculated, terrifying, professional. You see, Hale's voice crackled through speakers outside. I've anticipated every move except one. Maya's heart stopped. What do you mean? Richard's eyes narrowed. What does he know? Callahan's jaw tightened. He doesn't know you're ready. He doesn't know she's awake. That's our advantage. Maya swallowed. The locket burned against her chest. The hidden message. The preparation. Her mother had done everything for this. And now she had to act. She stepped forward. I'm ready, she said, voice trembling but strong. I've survived 19 years. I can face him. I will face him. Richard looked at her, shock and pride mixed in his eyes. You really mean that? Yes, Maya said, gripping the locket. I'm not running anymore. Callahan nodded. Then let's finish this. Together. They moved to the main command center, watching as Hale and his team approached the perimeter. Maya's pulse raced, but her fear was mingled with determination. Every step, every instruction her mother had given, every hidden clue, it all came together now. The moment Hale stepped closer to the compound, the gates locked down automatically. Lights flashed. Sirens blared. Hale's team hesitated, caught off guard. Richard's security team emerged, armed and precise. Callahan coordinated every move. And Maya stepped into the open, holding the locket high. Hale froze, recognizing it immediately. His face went pale. That locket impossible. Maya's voice rang out, clear and strong. It's real, Hale. And you're done. You won't touch me, my family, or anyone else. This ends now. Hale's fury was visible, but for the first time, Maya saw doubt. 19 years of planning, undone by one girl, one locket, one truth. The confrontation was tense, electric, but the advantage had shifted. Hale's men were contained. The compound was secure. And Maya, once hidden, once powerless, now stood at the center, strong, prepared, and unstoppable. Richard stepped beside her, gripping her shoulder. You did it, Maya. You faced him. Callahan nodded. He won't try again. Not now. Not ever. You've proven he's no match for the truth. Maya looked at the locket in her hand. Her mother's plan, her survival, her courage, it all converged in this moment. She was no longer a victim. She was no longer hidden. She was alive, aware, and finally free. And somewhere deep inside, a part of her smiled, knowing her mother's sacrifice, her love, and her preparation had not been in vain. Hale was defeated, not by brute force, not by luck, but by the truth, courage, and a daughter who had finally come into her own.